So, hello and welcome everybody. This is the first meetup of the year 2024 for the Ada group. I'm very glad that you all came here. Today we don't have that many news to share. Well, many like important topics, but we do have quite a few since we haven't had one of these for like 3 months already. So I selected a few interesting topics that I wanted to share with you this half an hour, and hopefully that brings some interest to you all, and you get an idea of what's happening in some places around the ADA community. So the first thing I would like to talk to you about, by the way, if anybody wants to say anything or interrupt me, feel free. I will just start talking and go on with topics. So the first topic I would like to talk about is the ADA bindings to the Wolf SSL library. This was announced back in August, and there were a few blog posts and announcements about it. So this is not new. What's new is that I went to FOSDEM last month, which took place on February, early February, and the Wolf SSL people were there, and I got the opportunity to meet Martin, who is like the CEO of the UK branch of Wolf SSL, and I had the opportunity to talk to him about Ada and the Ada bindings that were introduced. And he told me something that I found quite interesting, that they had no customers for it. They just decided that since Ada was heavily used in safety critical applications, and Wolf SSL is also can be also certified for highly secure applications, that it would be just natural to add the Ada bindings to it, and hopefully generate more demand for the Wolf SSL from people, from companies, products and projects that use Ada. So I find it very interesting, because he told me that since announcing it back once again in August, that nobody had contacted them about the Ada bindings, and that their hope was to just create, to push it out, to make it available, and hopefully that the community, that the companies that use and consume Ada would just start asking for support, asking for more information, and using the library itself. So I found that quite interesting. Also a little bit sad in the sense that nobody was using it after so many months. But then again, the Ada world and the safety critical world is a slow world. Things move at their own pace. So just a few months is generally not enough. But after talking to him, and seeing the addition of the Ada binding, which you can find in their GitHub repository, it's all open source and available to everybody. By the way, these links I will make a blog post, I will make a forum post with all this information so that you can easily access it. So these bindings were added. You can just see them, and they actually have some Spark proofs to them. It's just the bindings to the C code, and then the contracts added on top of it. So you can actually prove the correctness of the use of this library through Spark. The thing is, the files that were added were wrapping the Wolf SSL library, but they were not creating an archive. They were not creating a library. They were creating two applications, like a server client demo, to showcase the bindings. So I talked to Martin about this, and I wanted to make Wolf SSL as available as possible to everybody, as easily as possible. And for that, library support had to be added. So right now there is an open request, pull request, to add a GPR file that's just creating a library for Wolf SSL. And my hopes is that once this is accepted, that Wolf SSL will become available for within Alure. So the Alure recipe is already available here. You can find it in my pull request. Um, but my goal was to when we were talking, Martin and I, my goal was to make this as available as possible to the wider Ada community. And I think hopefully with time that companies, especially large companies that invest in Ada, see a return on their investment. I think that's the healthiest way a community can grow. That when someone spends time on a project, on a language, on a product, that with time they see that it was worth it. With time they see that spending even more time, spending more knowledge, more money or resources into that topic uh, is a reliable strategy. It's a reliable thing to do. I think this is a very interesting way in which the wider Ada community can help Ada grow, and it's just basically making sure that people get their value back. So yeah, I just wanted to use this story to introduce this topic because I think it's very interesting. And yes, that's interesting to me. Hopefully to you too. So talking about FOSDEM, um, it was early February, so last month. It was very cool. As always, plenty of people, plenty of talks and topics, and I thoroughly recommend that you go into the schedules and look at the different rooms and topics that were discussed. Sadly, as most of you will know, there was no Ada Dev room this year, just last year. Um, but still, nonetheless, a few of us managed to go to FOSDEM and to have some fun and meet the people, and we had a dinner together. So here we can see as in a small group of us. So AJ, Ludovic, and Alejandro, representing the Ada people, just in a spirit, not actually giving any talks or anything. But this led to a proposal behind the scenes. Three of us, Dirk, Dirk Reinest, Fabian Chateau, and I, talked to the Ada Europe conference committee about the possibility of having a community workshop. Since we hadn't had an Ada Dev room in FOSDEM where the wider Ada community generally meets, we thought that the Ada Europe conference could be a very good fit for us to meet and discuss the wider Ada community topics. So we contacted the board. The board received the proposal quite nicely, and they allowed us to have a dev room, a workshop within the wider Ada Europe conference. So you can find so this is the main webpage of the Ada Europe conference that will be taking place in Barcelona in June. So from the 11th to the 14th of June. And if you go down into the workshops, you can find several of them. It's pretty varied. We will have topics about RAS. We will have topics about AI and very interesting sorry, very interesting topics like TLA plus safety critical software. But if you go down into the workshops, you will find the Ada developers workshop announcement that we published, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We announced it in the Ada Lang forums, the CLA, Reddit, etc., and the Ada FOSDEM mailing list recently. So here you can find information about the Ada workshop. It's basically a mirror of the FOSDEM DevBrew, and we would love if you, the wider Ada community, would like to come and join us and just have a nice, more informal workshop where we can all share our works, our ideas and thoughts. So here you will have you have all the information, all the relevant information, what we are hoping for with this workshop, what we will be looking for, the submission guidelines and the timeline for the submissions. So the most important timeline that I would like to point everybody at, if you are willing to come and join us, whether as public or as or as a speaker, is that the initial deadline, the projected deadline for talk and presentation submissions is the end of this month, so March 31st. We may be very flexible with this deadline. However, if you are thinking about giving a talk, please contact us before this date. But then again, here you can find all the information, all the different emails and extra links that may be useful to you. So yes, Dirk, Fabian, and I are really looking forward to fostering a different or not new, but yeah, an alternative home for the Ada developers to just meet and hang out once a year, which used to be the case for FOSDEM, but since we didn't have a dev room, yeah, that's not so easy. Plus, I would like to point out that while conferences tend to be quite expensive, we talked to the Ada Europe board, and we asked them if we could have a reduced price, and they agreed to. However, the actual price is still not finalized. So yes, we are working to make it as cheap as possible, hopefully free. Nonetheless, the conference also includes some coffee breaks and a meal, so it may not be fully free because obviously you're getting extra services. But yes, we are working with this problem. Once again, we are just trying to replicate the feeling, the original idea of an Ada dev room at FOSDEM. So once again, if you have any questions or anything, or if you would like more information about this, please read this article, or just come into contact with any of us, as the three of us are working with this topic. So that's it for Ada Europe. I would also like to make sure that everybody is aware that Alir had a new release. Well, it's about to have a full new release, version 2.0, and last week the first release candidate was published. So please, if you are interested in helping, if you are interested in testing, if you use Alir in general, I would thoroughly recommend that you try out the version 2 release candidate 1, mostly to try it out, to see if it works for you, if you find any bugs, to report any bugs. I've tried it for a few months. I've been trying the different releases, and I can tell you it works much better than version 1. So I'm very happy with Alejandro's work with Alir. And hopefully you will also find that it has a much better experience, especially for beginners. So please, here you can see all the different changes, but my idea or my goal is for you to be encouraged to try it out and see if it works for you. And if you find any bugs or any issues, please report them as soon as possible, because after the release candidates are out, the final version will be published, and that will become the new stable one. So it's an important milestone. And also, a few months ago, I believe in December, I proposed that in the main Adalang webpage, that we should have a link or a section of ideas and projects that people could work on that would help the wider Ada community. And that proposal was very well received. I am very happy with the feedback that proposal received. And a few of us worked on it, and it was finalized, and now you can find the new section called projects to work on right here on top of the navigation bar. So if you go into that section, here you will have a not exhaustive list of ideas, topics, and projects that could make use of some help. So if you're a new user, or if you're someone looking for a project to contribute to, this is a very good list that you can just open and see if something interests you. It's divided in different categories in different topics that that may interest different people. So if you're interested in helping with documentation, here are some of the main ideas that you could work on. And if you're interested in improving the toolchain situation with Ada, once again, here you can see that, etc., etc. Once again, it's not exhaustive. If you think something is missing from here, please feel free to open a pull request with the in the Ada Lang GitHub and just modify whatever you feel like it. I did the initial pull request, but once again, this is open for everybody to just contribute, discuss, and improve. Definitely, I'm not the only maintainer here. So that's pretty much it. That's all the ideas I wanted to get out today. Once again, there is not a single like talk about any given project, but yeah, it's been 3 months since the last meetup that we had, and I wanted to bring some important ideas out towards the community. So that's everything from my side. I will now stop sharing the screen. If you want to voice out any ideas or concerns or anything, feel free. Yes, Weston?
Oh, hi. Yes. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for all that you've been doing. You've been really active. It's really great to see. And the news that you're sharing, it's really great to hear as well. Regarding the Ada Dev Room, so I might have missed it, but is there like a virtual option for people who cannot fly over?
Yes, our idea is to stream the workshop, hopefully live. Uh, we will have a recording, a small, simple recording setup, and hopefully we can stream everything either to YouTube, or the idea was to also to use Google Meets. So if anybody is just abroad or cannot come in person, that they would still be able to listen to them and also give feedback. So if anybody online would have questions or anything, that we could also read them and for them to take part on the workshop. So yes, we are planning on that. Even there I think it's documented. I believe so. Um, here. Okay, I'm not sharing the screen now. But if you go into the webpage, we even have a paragraph about online presentations. So if anybody would like to give a talk or present a topic or whatever, have a discussion, we are open to that. The presenter doesn't have to physically be there. We will be giving preference to in-person talks, but if we find that there is an interesting topic and the presenter can't come in person, that they could be given that they could give that presentation, that talk online. We will require, however, a pre-recorded presentation nonetheless, just in case the internet or the infrastructure doesn't hold as we would hope, so that the experience is not undermined. But yes, we are also even open to that, not just participation in the form of audience, but also as a speaker, online presentations. Yeah.
Thank you. That's all good. Thank you.
Yes, Simon. You're
That should be better.
now.
Can you hear? Yeah, great. Okay. You may be aware that I've been working with up-to-date Macs, M1 Macintoshes, and I'm pleased to report that Maxim has managed to use the new GitHub M1 Mac facility to build what looks like a pretty good suite of Ada components, matching the one that you can get on a Lear anyway. Of course, there's a packaging issue. it needs to work out how to fit it into the rest of the Alea ecosystem. But for those who are using M1 Max, I think the future is looking quite good.
Yes, thank you, Simon and Max, for helping with the Max situation. I know you're pretty much the only one, or the main one, doing all the support there. So thank you very much for your work.
Yeah. There are quite a lot of people who are asking for it, mine.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Okay.
Weston,
you wanted to ask a question?
Oh, well, actually, I was trying to give the applause after Simon, but I guess I would. I would like to ask. I'm curious. So I know that you. Thank you so much, Simon, by the way, for maintaining the Mac ports. So I'm kind of curious. I know that you've been running into challenges as you make updates. Because of the tooling that gets updated. But so I was wondering, has it been getting like harder to maintain the Mac port, or is it like relatively the same amount of work each time? Because it's unfortunate that every time there's like a new tool for Mac Xcode tool. I don't use Mac though, so I'm just kind of like going based on what I've read. But it seems like that every time there's like an update, like something breaks, but is it usually just that, or I'm just wondering?
Well, the last, am I speaking yet? Yes, the last time we had a problem was with Xcode 15, and it turned out for a start that you couldn't link anything. At least you couldn't link any Ada programs. I presume that you could link Swift code. And then it turns out that exceptions weren't getting handled properly, which is a really big deal. So two things. One is we made out a workaround to get around that. And the second thing is that when GCC 14 comes out, the exception problem will go away. Hang on. I'm hoping that it will come in GCC 13.3. But that depends on timescales and whether Ian Sando, who is the guy who is actually doing the serious work, because he understands the inside of the compiler. I don't. It's a big topic. Answer: yes, I think this is the first time I've come across a severe glitch with a new version of Xcode. It doesn't usually happen. It's usually not a problem.
Okay, and are these like issues that you've been able to just figure out on your own, or did you have to seek out like help from the GCC? Like, does it impact other people on that use GCC?
Well, the linking problem was said someone else worked that one out. We had to go to version 15.1 of the tool, and then there was a lot of messing around trying to get it so that it would be seamless from the from the user's point of view, which we've got round now. It turned out that the GCC 14 code didn't have the problem, and the GCC 13 code did. So I had an interesting exercise of chasing which particular commit on the GCC repository actually fixed the problem, which took a little while, but you know, it's not bad.
Okay, and would you say that most of over the years that what you've come across that were issues that were they more on like the GCC side that needed to be updated to work with like the updated Mac tooling?
The updated, sorry, what?
So I was just curious, like the issues were most of them like issues that needed to be resolved on the GCC side, or it's like isolated to like, hey, just the Ada tool set is being affected. It's just an Ada. No one else is affected by it.
Well, I can't imagine that they are. I think the exception problem seems to be it's just an Ada thing. It's a GCC thing, but really that it might affect C++, I suppose, because that has exception handling. But that's Ada. I'm not aware of any general problems aside from that.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's okay.
And since we were talking about GCC 14, as far as I know, it will be released, the stable version, GCC 14.1, will be released fairly soon, like in the next month or two. The Ada section for the changelog has been written. It's in the mailing list. However, it has not still been approved. I need to rework a few lines that I wrote. I've been asked to simplify it. So hopefully I will get the final patch version for the changelog by tomorrow if I have time. And hopefully that will get published in the next few weeks. So Ada will have a changelog section like just the past few releases. I'm pointing this out just in case someone wasn't aware. Ada didn't have like a written section of the changelog for like several releases since nobody really bothered to write one. So for the past couple of releases, I've been the one writing them. And there are a few interesting additions, by the way. If you've not been following the development of GCC 14, I think you will all be very happy to hear some of the new aspects that have been added. And yeah, I'll let you read the changelog one once it goes up. Yes, Wesley?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I coming in clear? Okay. Yeah. So maybe a lot of you already know, but just in case, so there was a post last month about the NSA / White House coming out with a paper about the need for eventually moving to memory safe languages, and um, so yeah, they unfortunately, despite all the comments, they only had a small, tiny blurb of Ada / Spark on one page of it. Not the published one apparently, but the is revised version of that report. So yeah, it's unfortunately they didn't really show Ada there. It's a little small blurb, but at least they acknowledge it's a memory safe language, which yeah, I really don't like that term memory safety, but that's stuck just like every other fad. But yeah, so and here's I'll post the link in case anyone needs that. Where's my window? Sorry. So that's that's the link to the latest revision that I saw that has the little blurb on Ada on page 18. Oh yeah, at least it's something, but yeah, and I don't know if yeah, so it's unfortunate that you didn't mention Ada before and in the published version. That's about it.
Yes, thank you. I saw a lot of news about this publication from the White House regarding the recommended set of programming languages, and indeed, it was very sad that Ada wasn't mentioned there. However, as Tim was saying earlier before we started with the meetup, I also feel like Rust has brought a lot of attention to Ada because Rust is a lot about memory safety, but then the next step is about functional correctness and functional safety, no? And I think a lot of people when they see they've started seeing Ada in a better light, not as this old language that is no longer used, but as a language that can be the next step to Rust. So I personally I wanted to give a talk in the Ada developer workshop in Barcelona about marketing. I know this sounds weird, but I think one of the biggest issues of the Ada community is marketing and community engagement. And I think this idea of Ada not being visible is an issue, is a big issue. And I think a lot of communities are making a much better job than us. And that's also why I wanted to bring the Wolf SSL case about publishing Ada bindings and not getting like a big, well, a big getting customers for those bindings. So yes, I think this is an interesting topic, what you're bringing, the visibility of Ada being recognized or not as a very interesting and useful programming language. And I would like to give a presentation about it. My hope is to give it, as I said, in Barcelona, but maybe I'll just, if nobody proposes a topic for an Ada meetup, then I'll just take the opportunity and give it there. So we'll see. But I think it's an issue, and it's a very interesting point to make. Thank you.
Yeah, we need to. Oh, sorry. We need. Yeah, well, I think we need to keep trying to associate it with memory. The whole memory safety term. It was kind of misleading, but yeah, I think if we keep associating it with that, then it might help visibility, especially in doing searches or hashtags or whatnot.
Yes. Weston.
Yeah, this is just a comment. So and I've noticed in actually just the past few weeks that there's been like a noticeable uptick in new participants in some of the various Ada forums, and so that's really nice to see. And I'm hoping it continues. And I'm not sure if it's some of that's tied to the publication of that paper, or I'm not sure, but it's just I just noticed that, and I'm hoping it keeps up. And so we're getting like I'm noticing more newbie questions, and the Ada community's been really good about answering questions.
Yeah, I also noticed the uptick. Yeah. Wesley?
Oh yeah. Wasn't there someone who was thinking of presenting stuff on Ada game development in this meetup? I thought that someone had proposed that they were going to try it. They were thinking of doing that in this month meetup.
Excuse me, what did someone propose to do?
When you were asking for topics to discuss for this meetup, wasn't there someone who was thinking of presenting something related to Ada and game development?
Yes, I don't remember who it was, but someone proposed the idea of them talking about game development and Ada, but I believe they didn't specifically said for this meetup. I don't remember like receiving any emails or a request. But yes, someone did write about it, which is another interesting topic. I think a lot of people, maybe this is bias or not, but I think a lot of people come into programming because of video games or web pages or interactive media, and that's one of like the first most noticeable things about a language. If a game is written in it, or if a piece of technology that's visually satisfying, let's say, is written in a programming language. And I would like to for that person, I don't remember who it was, but I would like to have a talk about it. Yeah. Yes, Luke. We cannot hear you, Luke. You're unmuted, but maybe your microphone is muted somewhere else or blocked by the permission system. So at least in Jitsi, you're not muted, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, the volume was down. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it was me. But when people are looking at different programming languages, from what I can tell, there's only like there's kind of like three different areas that they're interested in. One is compilers, one is operating systems, and one is games. Those are the three areas that people are interested in with a particular language.
I would also add web pages to that, or web programming. I've noticed that nowadays, with the rise of WebAssembly, TypeScript, JavaScript, and interactivities with like web servers in Python, Go, Rust, Elixir, and things like that. I think also a lot of people are like really hard into front end and back end development. And for example, that's a big issue with Ada. There isn't like a great backend experience, and I would love to have a better showcase of the Ada WASM binding and technology, being able to program web pages using Ada, and I think that's very interesting and very cool. Also, there was, I believe, Ada Core made a blog post about using Spark in compiling a Spark code for WASM, and being able to have formally verified code running on your computer, on a web browser. That I think it's very valuable for the future as web technologies grow. And for example, many people don't know about that, which is kind of sad in my humble opinion. And once again, that goes back to the topic of marketing and showcasing and community awareness. That's what I'm trying to fix with these meetups and everything.
Well, there's for HTTP server, there's Black on GitHub. I've got a copy of it. I think I don't know how complete it is. I've got a copy of it on my GitHub. I've never looked at it though, so I don't know whether it works or anything. I don't know anything about it. But that could do with being resurrected because that's HTTP too.
Okay. Nice. I didn't know we had an HTTP2 server written, or handler written in Ada. Interesting. So, are there any more questions, topics, or things that you would like to discuss? Or shall we? Yes, Wesley?
Yeah. So I know there was one or two like YouTubers or someone who tried like installing Ada, and like basically they videotaped their whole experience, and from what we've seen is like they always had a hiccup in installing. Has anyone like reached out to those guys to like tell them about the new 2.0 version of Alair and ask them to do a reeval of Ada and installing it and all?
Not that I know of, but it indeed would have been a much better experience for them if they had used the new earlier version. That's why I wanted to emphasize the people just basically using earlier, even if it's not like in fully released version 2, it's not fully released. I've been using it for months as the only earlier version that I use, and it's been stable. It's been working beautifully. And yes, I would like to move things a little bit faster in the, let's say, tool chain or initial experience section of Ada, because I think it's like the first impression is very important, and we don't have the best first experience, and we should work on that. But yes, earlier version 2 would have helped these YouTubers massively. Yep, yeah. Yes, Wesley?
And would it be possible to in the like the GCC changelog for Ada like add the links to things like Ada lang.o and Alir and all that? So you can't do that?
No. The changelog must be about GCC and maybe GNU projects if they interface with the compiler quite heavily, but that's not allowed.
Oh, then how about like a layer? Like, could we put something in the installation so it points people to the website? So that way we have a comment. We just start making sure that people are aware of all the websites, the newer websites that are making it easier to learn. Because that was also another thing that these uh, YouTubers didn't know about were the better websites. They would hit the old websites.
That for earlier that could be done. Yes, if you think that's useful, submit an issue or even make the PR. I would expect to in the PR to be fairly simple, but if you think this is valuable, and I think it's valuable, at least make an issue for it so that it can get tracked or that someone could potentially be the one that makes the addition. So, are there any more questions, topics, ideas? Nonetheless, as I said earlier before, the different links that I've shown and that you've been posting in the chats, I'll have them. I'll make a follow-up post so that anybody can just go and use them and see for themselves the information discussed here. Yes, Francesc.
Okay, now, can you hear me? Okay, well, first of all, hello all, and thank you very much, Fernando, for your efforts and your work. And I joined a little bit late this meeting, but I don't know if you bring some news about the Google Summer of Code, or do you have some information?
Yes, I made an announcement. This is a topic that we've been discussing for years with, I've been discussing for years with some people. For those of you out of the loop, Google has something called Google Summer of Code, and they pay students. Before it was only students, university students. Now it has been open to anybody, especially people who would like to get back or into programming. But that nowadays it's regardless of age or university status. So Google pays these people to work on open source during the summer. And I've been trying to push some people, some institutions, towards participating and including Ada, or submitting Ada as an institution's language, as a project that students could benefit from and work on Ada. That hasn't happened. We've never had an Ada proposal in the Google Summer of Code. Nonetheless, projects that do work with Ada have been, or that are important to Ada, have been included. And GCC is the most noticeable one, most important one. And we could be working in Ada, or someone could be working with Ada code within GCC using the Google Summer of Code program. Nonetheless, for that, there needs to be an idea and there needs to be mentors, at least one mentor that would help the student go through the actual work. And the who was it? This very important person in Ada.
Tucker Taft.
Tucker Taft, thank you. Tucker Taft proposed the idea of adding the parallelism aspect, a keyword to GCC, which is one of the main features of Ada 2022, which is still lacking. However, I don't know if he proposed it, he wanted for some other people to help him, but I don't think the people he proposed, whether he contacted them or they contacted him about it, and I don't think it was actually his idea didn't go through. I would have loved to do that. Nonetheless, I'm not willing to pressure people into this. I want to publish the information and make sure everybody's aware of it. But I don't think pressuring people is useful, especially because this is done for free. It's voluntary, and I don't think the Google Summer of Code, the 2024 edition of Google Summer of Code will benefit us in any direct manner. Sadly, another year. It has been this way for 2-3 years already, but that's how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Wesley.
Yeah, so Tucker Taft posted a while back about that parallelism thing library. Well, so does anyone know if that's going to data into the um, Connect so that we have more of the latest 2022 parallel programming type stuff capability?
So the proposal that Tucker Taft actually did was to get the work that had already been done about parallelism in his libraries and his compiler and all that, and make that the base work for GCC, and just include that, put it into GCC. So I think that was the idea he proposed. But once again, he said, I can help with this because I built it. I built the parallelism structure and project, but um, I'm not a GCC expert. And the thing is, you need someone that's directly involved with the project. So you will need someone that's directly involved with GCC to propose a project for GCC within the Google Summer of Code. And I don't think that happened. So yeah. So any more ideas? Yes, Wesley.
Oh, I just realized it's been a while since we've seen anything on Noga. So I mean, it seems like it's still being developed, but has anyone uh, made anything large with it yet?
From what I know, Noga was being built by a guy whose family name is Bottom. Um, he's an excellent programmer, by the way, a very nice guy. He hangs in the IRC channel, and now I believe he has shifted towards Lisp, and he's now working in a GUI in Lisp known as Clock. So I don't think Noga is been for improved anymore, I believe. Um, but I may be wrong. I may be fully wrong on that. Maybe I have mixed like projects or something like that.
Yeah, I'm aware that someone took over, well, and that he stopped, but I could have sworn there's a couple of people that took it over because I remember seeing like updates every now and then to it.
Jeff made the note that Noga is maintained by Blady, so I was fully wrong with what I said. And Jean-Pierre, would you like to speak?
Oh, can't hear you.
You're muted, Jean-Pierre. Well, yes, Jean-Pierre, you're free to talk, but you need to unmute yourself. I see you're frozen, so I don't know if your connection is good. Okay, now you're unmuted.
Okay. I said that I think that Gauthier de Montmolin is also working with Noga, and I've seen several people on the Noga mailing list, so it's more than David Botti, definitely.
So I think that answers your question, Wesley.
Thank you.
So, if there are no further topics, once again, I would like to remind everybody that if you're interested in giving a presentation or coming as or being as public as an audience in the Ada Europe conference, you're more than welcome, and that is the goal of the Ada Developer Workshop that we are proposing to make basically this meetup, but in real life with more focus and streamlined experience. So please, you are more than welcome to come to join, either ideally in person, but also online. We'll try to make it work. And that's pretty much it. Yes, Weston?
Sorry, I was trying to hit the applause. There you go.
Thank you. Then the next, yes, Francesc?
Sorry, I almost forget to mention that if you remember, I developed the org mode support in Babel for Ada and Spark, and recently the maintainers of the org mode contacted me because they are pleased to include this mode into the mainstream branch of the org mode. So finally, this mode will be part of the Emacs as official part of the Emacs. And for now, I will integrate as is, and later on I will, sorry, I will also include support for Alire. Well, that's some news that I would like to comment.
That's actually good news. And there were actually news, or sad news, let's say, a while back about Ada mode in Emacs. That's an interesting topic, and if you don't mind, I will leave that for the next meetup. I'll take a note, but I would like to bring this issue with Ada mode being unmaintained, officially unmaintained in Emacs, and there was also a topic about including it into core Emacs in the mailing list, from what I saw. So I think we've done and talked enough for today. But the next meetup, I would like to bring Emacs and Ada support, at least to discuss it for a few minutes next time.
Okay.
Yes, Weston?
I'm sorry. So Francesc, I missed a little bit of what you said. Was this about the mold program?
Yes, it's
okay.
for Babel. Inside org mode, there is a Babel that allows you to evaluate code blocks inside an org mode file. And
okay.
I wrote this Lisp functionality to support Ada and to prove Spark code also.
Oh, okay, great.
Then thank you everybody for coming here. And the next meetup will be on the 6th, I believe, of April. I think that's the next first Saturday of the month. But I'll make an announcement nonetheless. So now I will compile a list of links, and I will publish them for everybody to have them. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being here, even though there was no specific topic today. So thank you, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.
Okay. Thank you. See you.
Thank you so much.